Hey, how's it going, everybody? I want to tell everybody thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking the videos. Thank you for leaving comments. So do me a favor. Go get your soft drinks. Go get your snacks. Go have a smoke. Go to the bathroom. Whatever it is you got to do, because you need to sit down. You don't want to miss 1 minute of this story, I promise you. So buckle in. Let's get this party started. Let's go! Alright, you guys. This is a story. I was 11 when this happened. Now, we didn't live in the country. Every once in a while, my mom would move us to the city where all of our family was from. And it didn't turn out too good for me. I did not adjust to the city life at all when I was that age. So, what had happened was, for some reason, I don't know, but we moved to the city. I think, actually, I think that's when our house burnt down, when we were living out in the country. And I think that is what happened. And that's why. So we end up moving up to the city, Pacific, right before school starts. I've never been to, like, middle school, elementary, high school, where I was growing up. All from kindergarten to high school, I mean, everything was right there, almost basically one building, right? I mean, little school. So when we got up to Pacific, the way they did school was new to me, and I didn't really like it. And whole lot of different kind of people, you know what I mean? Like, just so many different attitudes and opinions, and like, all the girls liked the boys from the country because of the way we talk, but then all the guys, they hated us because of that. So it was rough. But anyways, we muscled through it, and that's kind of what got me in trouble and kicked out before school was over. And it was it was early enough that they failed me for fighting, and for fighting a teacher. But I didn't start it. You guys got to remember, I was just 11, what? Oh my gosh, this teacher was brutal, man. Mean. And, like I said, the school I was used to, they didn't treat you that way. Well, here and there, that happened. And the city life just wasn't for me and my brothers. We got in too much trouble every time we went to the city. My mom did it a few times. But this particular time, this year, we was living on this street, and it was right before you got to the Merrimack River. And there was literally, like, I think we was the third house from the Merrimack River, right? So it was like right there. We used to float the Merrimack during the summer. That summer, we got inner tubes from a gas station, bought inner tubes that had holes in them, took them home. Our stepdad helped us patch the holes, and we would use them inner tubes, get in the Merrimack, float all the way down to Six Flags, where the Merrimack passes, Six Flags, and we'd get off our inner tubes and go to Six Flags. We had season passes. All summer we did that. Come back. When we come back to our inner tubes, we didn't want to paddle upriver. So we had valve stem remover that our stepdad gave us, and we would loosen the valves and all the inner tubes, squeeze the air out of them, haul them back home. Then we had a tire pump at home. And the next day, or whenever we was going to go back to Six Flags, we'd just go out there and pump up our inner tubes, carry them down to the river, recycle, right? Just keep doing the same thing over and over. Anyways, we had a blast doing that. And we had pretty good neighbors, except for one. And this one, she had problems. She thought she was a witch. And she may have been a witch, I don't know. I'm not really going to get on that subject, but I'm not going to say it's bad, good, or ugly, okay? It's all about what you want to do. It's personal preference, in my opinion. But this lady was not the good kind of witch, you guys. This lady would be like in her yard trying to cast spells on us just for playing in the yard. Like, and this happened a lot, like went on for a long time. And my mom kept telling us, don't worry about it. Because at first, me and my brothers, we would like egg it on, right? Like, we were like, ooh. We would kind of taunt this lady, not understanding that she actually had something wrong with her. And it wasn't, for this woman, it wasn't about this was her religion. For this woman, she was paranoid schizophrenic. You know what I mean? This lady had actual, let me tell a story. Okay, so this woman believes that she's a witch, and she's casting spells on me and my brothers all the time. And she had two daughters, and one daughter, I remember, was about my oldest brother's age, and if I was 11, then he would have been 14. So she was 14 or 15. And I remember that because my brother had a crush on her and talked about her all the time, right? Which she was pretty. But she had a little sister, and the little sister was little, like 5, 4 or 5. Like little. Well, I don't know what happened, but the little sister would come out in the yard and like start acting like a cat, right? So as I've grown up and got older, I realized that this is actually kind of natural with some kids. That's just kind of how they play, right? But like the mom would come out there and start spraying her with the water hose, and like saying, "Get out of here, cat! Get out of here, cat!" Right? Like it was weird, right? Like so. Oh my goodness. But this little girl, there was times when we would be like leaving to go somewhere to our grandparents' house or something, and we'd all get out in the car, and she would be out in the yard doing this, being a cat, and she would actually come up to our car and start licking the windows and meowing like a cat. So I don't know if the mom was like provoking this behavior somehow, because it was pretty extreme in my opinion. Even back then when I was just a little kid, I was like, man, that's crossing the line. You're completely off in another dimension now. But I don't think this little girl knew any better, y'all. I don't think she did. I think her mom was provoking this behavior, because I don't know how long this woman was even sick, right? like when we moved in, she was already that way. And it might be why there was no one living in that house. You know what I'm saying? Was because of this lady. I don't know. I was little. I didn't ask. But she would be casting spells on us all the time. And then it turned into her taking pictures of us. And I remember the backyards had a wooden privacy fence. You know what I mean? It was wooden slat. Couldn't see through it. Well, there was a couple spots you could see through if you wanted to, but like it was a privacy fence. And she would stand on her back porch so she could see over the privacy fence. And while me and my friends were outside in the backyard playing, you know, cops and robbers or whatever we was doing, usually we was working on bicycles, actually. That was our main thing back then. And she would just be taking pictures of us, right? Well, well, me being ornery and half wild, as soon as I caught on to what she's doing, I started doing poses, right? I was mocking her. I was aggravating for sure, 100%. Well, I'm a kid though. She's an adult. I'm not justifying it, but I'm just saying, you know, she shouldn't have been doing that. Nowadays, you'd go to jail for that, right? So, seriously. But what happened was I went a little too far. Okay, so she wouldn't quit. This went on for a few days, and I told my dad about it, my mom, and they tried talking to her, and she wouldn't talk to nobody. She was, you know, out there. So one day my dad was like, just ignore it, you know, just let her do it. And they called the cops and everything. Nobody would do nothing about it. So until one day when she's out there taking pictures and doing this and that, I looked at my buddy, who was the neighbor. His dad's name was Glenn Campbell. What are the odds of that? But anyways, I can't remember his name. My brother Mike can remember the two brothers' names. My dad was the first one to take them fishing. They'd never been fishing before. Man, they got addicted. But anyways, me and him was back there messing with a bicycle. I think we was changing inner tube or something. And she's taking pictures. So I jumped up and I mooned her. I gave her the full moon. Now I'm only 11, so it wasn't a very big moon, but it was a moon, and she took pictures of it, right? She took pictures of it, and then she called the cops on me. Oh my goodness, she called the cops on me, and they came and arrested me. They put me in handcuffs and everything, put me in a cop car, drove me down to the police station, told me they was going to lock me up, and they're lucky that it wasn't wartime or I'd have to go to war. I mean, they really poured it on thick. I mean, scared me real good, scared me good. But I didn't really get in no trouble. But I got scared really good about that. So, needless to say, I never dropped trowel in the city after that. Okay. So, she gets us in trouble, gets me in trouble for mooning, but she's the one I feel that's invading our privacy with this picture taking thing. Well, after this happens, she quits taking pictures of us too, right? So I kind of won that deal anyways. I just got scared and they made me cry and all that stuff. But taught me a lesson. So we're not messing with her in the backyard. She's not messing with us no more. But now she's in the front yard. and she'd just be out there chanting, or, you know, sometimes she would like get between her house and her front porch and just sit up in there and hide, right? And when people would walk by on the sidewalk, she would like yell like chants and curses on them. Well, me and my brothers, this is like night at the theaters for us. You know what I mean? We're just watching. This is a good time. We're having fun watching this lady do this to just random folk walking down the road, you know, with the sidewalk. So it was entertaining. We thought it was funny. We'd watch, and the little girls out there going around this one tree they had in their yard. And she would climb up this tree and go around the whole time acting like a cat, meowing, and I mean, for hours. And the mom's out there, and me and my brothers, and it was insane. It was crazy, but it was entertaining. So anyways, one night, oh, this is crazy. So one night, this lady's getting worse and worse too. As the summer goes, this lady's getting worse and worse. I mean, to the point to where she's like walking around almost naked with just a nightgown on that is obviously see-through. And she's just walking around her yard in that thing, chanting and, you know, cursing people, and not like cursing them as in cuss words or curse words. She's like putting spells on them, okay? She's putting spells on people. And the cops have been called by several people. They've showed up over there several times. Turns out her husband's in law enforcement. So they're really, only thing they would do is go over there and make her go inside. That's it. They never made her do anything else but just go inside. And well, she would go inside for about an hour or so, and then back out she'd be, you know. So my parents, they go out one night, and I can't remember, my mom was into that line dancing, I think, back then, and I think that they'd went to a bar to do some line dancing. My dad only had one leg, so he didn't do a whole lot of dancing. Just saying. But anyways, that's true story. So, but he would take my mom so she could do it. It was a good time. Anyways, they had went out to do that. And so it was just me and my brothers. Now, my older brother, like I said, he had to have been around 14, so he was old enough to babysit legally. Maybe not responsible enough, but legally he was. And then there was me at 11. My brother Jay would have been 8 or 9. Can't remember. Probably was 8. And then my youngest brother, Bub, he would have been, I think him and Jay are 2 years apart, so he'd have been around 6 or something. He was real little. I remember that. He was little. Because him and Jay was in the same room. But my mom and dad went out, and when it got dark, like the lady next door, we didn't see her almost all day, right? She'd been real quiet and hadn't showed up. No shenanigans, no spells. Well, nobody was going to be unalived that day. So we was lucky there, I guess. But once it got dark, my brother had invited some friends over, and one of them was his girlfriend. And she happened to be, man, that was probably one of the prettiest girls I had ever seen when I was 11. Okay. She was pretty. And him and his buddies was outside hanging out, smoking the reefer or whatever, you know, and drinking beers, and I don't know where they came from. But I was way too little, and I was, you know, he made me stay in the house with my 2 little brothers, and his girlfriend stayed in there with me. So I didn't care about staying in the house. Well, if she's going to be in here, that's pretty cool. We can do that. Well, she wants to watch scary movies, right? So I'm not too into scary movies. Never was. Not back then, not now. But I also knew that when girls watch scary movies, they tend to grab a hold of you a lot, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, we watch some scary movies. I sat real close, you know. Was just waiting for the scary part so she'd grab me, like, ah. I'm like, yeah, I got you, don't worry. Anyways, yeah, I'll protect you. So we're sitting there hanging out watching scary movies, and I'm having a real good time. My brother's outside with his buddies. They're all cutting up and having a good time. And then I hear my brother saying, don't do it. Don't do it. I'm thinking, don't do what, you know? What? Don't do what? Now, the front door's closed, but they're literally hanging right outside the living room window, which we're sitting right up against. So I can hear what's going on outside. And the window might have even been open. It could have been open. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the front door comes flying open. And this woman from next door, man, her hair was all frizzed out. It was scary. Now, you got to remember, we're already watching a scary movie, so I'm already on edge, you know. And my brother's girlfriend, she's really on edge. So when this door comes flying open and this woman comes running through the living room, I mean, you guys, 7 feet from me, at least, buck naked. She is naked as a jaybird, right? She comes running into our house, straight through the living room, right into the kitchen. Well, me and this girl, I can't remember her name, we're like, ah, we scream, we jump up. I head straight to my little brother's. I ran straight back to the room that my little brother's was in, went in there, shut the door, and locked it. I can hear my brother Mike in the house now. Matt, where you at? I said, I'm back here with Jay. He's like, get out here. I need your help. I'm 11, you guys. I'm not very big. I was pretty scrawny back then. I was a little guy. So I was like, I'm thinking, what am I going to do? So the first thing I think of is get a sheet or something to cover this lady, right? I'm thinking, we got to put something on her. So I just pull the sheet right off my little brother. It don't wake them up. Them guys never did wake up, neither. And I locked their door and shut it behind me, right? Now, there's no way to unlock it. Well, you can. It's got the little hole in the door, you know. Okay, so we got the door unlocked later. But I locked them in that room. And I come down the hallway with that sheet. And I see my brother. He's standing in the living room. And he's like trying to block somebody in the kitchen. And I'm thinking he's got her trapped, you know. So I come running in there, and I look in the kitchen, and there she is. She was so white. It was weird. She was so, I mean, I never seen a Caucasian person so white, almost like an albino, but she was not albino. Real skinny. It looked awful. So I give my brother the sheet, and as soon as I throw the sheet to my brother Mike, his girlfriend snags me up. Come on, we're going outside. So she takes me outside, and the cops are there. So the coolest thing about this place, as far as this particular night, not so cool when the cops come to get me, but when the cops come to get her, they were only like 2 or 3 blocks down the road. So they got there quick, like within a couple minutes, boom, they was there. So they show up. These cops all go running into the house. Well, as soon as she sees the cops, when she got into the kitchen, my brother Mike's trying to block her. She got in the drawer and got a kitchen knife. So she had a knife too. And my brother's like trying to block her with this sheet. And the cops come running in there. And as soon as the cops come in, she shoots out the back door. Right out of the kitchen. Right through the backyard. Cops are right on her. They tackle her back there. I'm getting excited, building up a little gas, y'all. So they get her caught in the backyard. I remember when they brought her out of the house, the whole time my brother Mike still got this sheet too. So they bring her back through the front yard. She's out of the house, coming out the front door. I'm out there. They're walking her by, and she's spitting on everybody. She starts spitting at everybody, and she's putting the curses or the spells on everybody. And one of the cops were like, "Hey, somebody got a sheet or something, you know?" And Brother Mike's like, "Yeah, right here." So they're trying to cover her up to put her in the cop car, and she starts fighting them, right? Well, I gotta say, these cops, they were pretty, they got pretty mad when she started biting them. I'm just saying. And, they got her in the cop car, whether she liked it or not. When she come out of the house, she wasn't bleeding. When she left in the cop car, she was bleeding. I'll just put it that way. I'll just say that. But anyways, so they haul her off, right? So for, I don't know, it was probably a month or so. Probably a month, really. Because we moved before school started the next year. This happened just before winter. And we didn't see her again until around Thanksgiving or Christmas. It was a holiday. So I think she got like a 30-day stay somewhere, you know what I mean? But she was on medicine, was acting a lot better. But I remember right before we moved, oh, and the little girl too, by the way, that little kid, um, they put her in somebody else's custody in the family, right? And I never did hear nothing about that little girl again after that, but she went like to her grandparents' house or something, started taking care of her. And then the older girl, she stayed, and she actually lived there with her dad for a little while until the mom come back. And then right before we left, her and the mom had went somewhere, and I can't remember where. And I don't know if her mom had an episode or what happened, but she drove her car right through a church. Yeah. Like, boom, through a church. Jumped it into the church. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, she ended up going back to the mental hospital. I never seen her again. And when I seen the daughter again, she had a cast. So she had broke her arm or something in that car wreck. And then shortly after that, we moved. Now, I have another spooky story. I don't know if I'll tell it before Halloween or not. I might. But it's kind of like a little more serious and more about what I think was a poltergeist. And, I mean, my brothers remember it, and my aunt who was there remembers it. I mean, it happened. I can't explain what happened exactly, like why or how, but I witnessed it and it happened. So that'll probably be the next spooky story. And I think that's really the only two good ones I have. Uh, Other than that, yeah, that's it. So just do me one great big old favor. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe if you like listening to my stories. I got all kinds of different stories. Leave a comment. But most importantly, something's bringing you down, don't let it. Okay? Call 988. Call a family member. Call a friend. Go next door and talk to your neighbor who maybe you just barely even know. There's a lot of people out there that care about you and love you and will listen to whatever you got to say. And I mean that. I'm one of them. I care about everybody. As a Christian, I love everybody. Well, you guys know what I mean. But squash the little stuff. Don't let life bring you down. There's always something good going on. Get involved. Squatch it. Keep on keeping on. Peace.